Hey everybody, Rick Gualtieri here again, coming to you from the glorious hellhole that is New Jersey. Today I wanted to do a chapter reading from Get Bent, the Hybrid of High Moon, Book 1. I think a lot of people would probably consider Bill the Vampire, Toma Bill, Bill the Dead, that to be kind of my primary world with regards to books. If so, I would call Bent, I guess, kind of my secondary / close second world. Mainly because I enjoyed writing in it just as much as I do writing Bill's adventures. That said, Tamara does take place in a different world. I'm sorry, Tamara's Adventures, that's the name of the main character, Tamara Bentley. They do take place elsewhere, so people hoping for a crossover. There is a possibility of, like, if we do kind of a Crisis on Infinite Earths type thing, but them running into each other at the local Stop and Shop, probably not. So, for those of you unfamiliar with it, the Hybrid of High Moon is the story of Tamara Bentley, and she is a witch werewolf hybrid. There's no spoilers there. That's pretty much right there in the book description. Her mother is a witch. Her father is a werewolf. Both of them high-ranking members of their respective warring clans, I might add. My butterbeer mug. Unfortunately, no butterbeer in it, just water. And as far as the story goes, I don't hold back. Like, a lot of people have mistakenly kind of claimed this is a YA story. It is not. I don't hold back in this story. I think mainly because Tamara's a little bit younger than Bill. She starts off at around 19, and I think she's 20 by the time the second book starts. So she is a little bit younger. That said, she's a lot more kick-ass than Bill, and but she kind of makes more rash decisions because she is a bit younger. Probably not as heavily reliant on comedy as the Bill series, for those of you familiar with my other stuff. But I still consider this comedic urban fantasy because there is a lot of fun stuff going on there. But it's a lot of action adventure and ass kicking. And personally, I really like Tamara. This is available on Kindle and Kindle Unlimited, and Rachel Delude, she narrates the Bent books for audio over on Audible there, and she does an awesome job. And I'm not even going to pretend that what I'm about to do, with my deep manly voice for these female characters, is really going to do it justice. But I'm going to try to put the attitude there. So the section I'm going to read you is fairly early in the book. This is really just about when Tamara is first discovering her powers, which have been, her parents have kind of taken pains to hide away, which I won't give away too much, unless it's in this chapter, in which case, spoilers ahead. But anyway, she's just about to confront her parents for the first time after learning this stuff. So here is a snippet from Get Bent, the Hybrid of High Moon, Book 1. Do you have any idea what you've done? How much danger you've put yourself in? Would any of that danger happen to be from werewolves? Riva asked in a small voice. I had to give her credit for speaking up. Good thing, too, because Mom and I would have probably bickered for the rest of the day about stupid things like the countertop. My mother slowly turned toward her. I'm sorry, dear, but you look tired. Riva nodded. I am, but I'm pretty sure I'm not getting any sleep anytime. No, you're not listening. Mom's gaze locked onto my friends, and the strangest thing happened. I could have sworn they lit up for just a moment. Probably my imagination running wild again with, go into the other room and take a nap. Though I saw her lips move and heard the words leave her voice, it was as if multiple voices had spoken at once. Some seriously weird reverb there. Maybe I was more fatigued than I thought. She doesn't need a... Riva stood without a word, turned and marched back into the living room. Where are you going? She wasn't being literal. My mother, for her part, turned and poured herself another cup of coffee. There. That should give us some privacy to discuss matters. She's seen far more than she should have, but I can take care of that. Earlier, when Mom had first walked in the door, I'd been weirded out for some reason. I dismissed it as nothing more than nerves, but now that feeling was back again, and a lot stronger. I walked to the kitchen exit. Interestingly enough, Though she'd stepped away only seconds earlier, Riva was sacked out on the couch snoring as if she'd been that way for hours. The hell? Last night had been weirder than anything I'd ever experienced in my life, but today was trying to give it a run for its money and doing a heck of a job of it so far. I glanced back toward my mother. Before I could speak, not that I knew what I was going to say, the growl of a car engine outside caught my attention. It was followed by the sound of a door slamming shut. Mom stepped up beside me. Your father always did have impeccable timing. Sure enough, he stepped through the front door a few seconds later. His eyes fell upon me, and the first thing he said was, "Thank goodness you're all right." Pity for him, the first words out of my mouth were less cheerful. "What happened to your face?" Dad was a mess. A black eye, dried blood beneath his nose, and numerous scratches covering his face and neck. He looked like someone had used him as a punching bag. Mom pushed past me, no surprise considering the condition of her husband, but when she spoke, her tone was only partially sympathetic. "Are you okay? Who was it this time?" "I'm fine," Dad averted his eyes. "Craig, but there's a good reason, Lissa. I thought we talked about this." This was crazy. They were acting like Dad, a guy who couldn't recall ever even spanking me, had just got home from Fight Club. Weirder, Mom was acting like this wasn't the first time either. Truth be told, I was beginning to wonder whether I'd actually fallen into a coma after all. Surely this wasn't the same boring family I said goodbye to yesterday. "I know, but you have to understand, I had to." He stopped and turned toward me. "Isn't that right, Tam Tam?" Dad stepped past my mother and stood looking down at me expectantly. "I have no idea what you're talking about, but I was just telling Mom that some seriously weird shit happened." "Language, young lady." "I think we can overlook it this time, dear," Dad said, turning back to me. "After all, I understand our daughter had a somewhat stressful night, out camping where she wasn't supposed to be." "What? How did he know that?" "You're lucky I was there," he continued. "Although, next time, I'd appreciate it if you didn't kick me in the crotch." My eyes opened wide as saucers as his words sunk in. I'd need a werewolf last night, true. One of the big ones taking the fight out of it. Was Dad trying to tell me he was... No. I shoved him away, sending him stumbling back across the living room. Then I stepped between him and my mother, fist raised. "Get back, Mom. He's not who you think he is." "Really, Tamara?" Her tone wasn't exactly full of alarm like I was expecting. "Must we do this?" I glanced back toward her just as movement registered in my periphery. Dad had recovered his footing. "You need to calm down. Calm down, honey." "Whoa!" I spun in through a punch, intent on knocking him into next week, but, much to my amazement, he dodged, moving faster than I'd ever seen him. My blow, a sloppy haymaker thrown in panic, missed by a mile. The momentum sent me staggering past him. Before I could recover, Dad locked his arms, far hairier than I remember them being, around me and held me in place. "That's enough." I tried to power my way out, but his strength was incredible. As strong as I guessed I was, he managed to maintain his grip. Pity for him I wasn't out of tricks. "Can you please calm..." I shifted my weight, dropped low, and twisted. Dad was pulled off balance, letting go enough for me to launch him from over my shoulder. He smashed through our coffee table, landing on his back with a satisfying crunch of glass and wood. The commotion was enough to rouse Riva, who'd continued to slumber on the couch up until then. She woke with a start, her mouth opening and closing mutely at the sight before her. "Mom," I called over my shoulder, "take Riva and get out of here. I've got this." In reality, I didn't have a clue as to whether I had anything, but it seemed a reassuring thing to say. "Oh, enough is enough," Mom shot back. "I will not have you ruining my furniture because of some misguided temper tantrum." I was about to ask what the hell was wrong with her, but the only thing that came out of my mouth was a surprised cry as something knocked me off my feet from behind. One of the easy chairs had somehow slid across the living room floor, seemingly of its own accord, dropping me butt first into it. Before I could stand, Mom shouted something. "Do slabrai," whatever that meant. It again came out sounding as if she had 3 invisible backup singers screeching it out along with her. But if I thought that was odd, it was nothing compared to the whips of bright orange light that appeared from out of nowhere and tangled themselves around me. No, that wasn't quite right. Light was intangible, Whatever this crap was, it felt solid. They wrapped around my arms and legs, holding me fast to the chair. Bent! Don't make me tie you down too, Mom scolded my friend before turning back to me. I said, that's enough. I struggled against the bonds, I guess, but whatever they were, they had me caught like a rat in a trap. Sadly, I didn't have a great deal of leverage, otherwise I'd have... Stop fooling around, Curtis, and help me here. My father pushed himself to a sitting position and glanced sidelong at my mother. You know, that actually did kind of hurt. Now is not the time for melodrama. They looked at each other for a moment, then both turned to me. I braced myself, uncertain of what was going on or what would come next. Whatever they had planned for me, though, I'd fight them tooth and nail. Dad got to his feet and leaned down over me. Are you calm now, honey? Huh? I wasn't sure what to expect, but it hadn't been that. All right. I apologize if I butchered any. I think there was just one bit of Gaelic in there, and yeah, I probably completely ruined that. Sorry. This is why people like me hire competent narrators. Anyway, that is a brief snippet from Get Bent, the Hybrid of High Moon, Book 1. The action definitely ratchets up from there. But as you can probably tell from that snippet, one thing I like about this story is, whereas Bill is about mostly Bill and his friends, Hybrid of High Moon is kind of more of a family, story. Family is very important to Tamara. We got her mother, her father, her brother, her best friend Riva, who pretty much is like a sister to her. So it has like a different dynamic to it. That said, I think it's no less fun. If anything, I kind of enjoy writing it. I will admit, occasionally I enjoy writing it more than Bill because it kind of takes me to different places. But anyway, that was a snippet from Get Bent, the Hybrid of High Moon, Book 1. There are currently 4 books available. There's there's Hellbent, which is available for free for people who sign up to my newsletter. So, decent-sized novella. And then there's Bent Out of Shape, Book 2, and Book 3, which is Bent on Destruction. And sometime this year, I'm going to be starting work on Book 4, which is Bent, Not Broken. Probably sense a theme there with the titles. Anyway, that's it for me. This has been Get Bent, the Hybrid of High Moon, Book 1, and I will return soon with another chapter reading.